Hello and welcome to Project 5P. Today we're going to talk about first aid, specifically first aid kits, individual first aid kits. This video I've been meaning to make for a while, but what prompted me to get it done now was a video challenge by NWA Prepper, Brother Travis, good guy. However, in the process of preparing to get ready to film this video, because he had a video that came up in my feed as a recommended video that was a challenge. Show us your individual first aid kits or first aid kits in general. So I was like, hey, I've been meaning to make a video, perfect opportunity. And as I was preparing to make the video, I realized that that video of Travis's was 3 years old. So better late than never, brother. But here it goes. The other thing that made this very unique is that at the day before I was prepping to make this video, my car got broken into and my favorite first aid kit was stolen, my IFAK from Refuge Medical. So NWA Prepper, you can see right now I'm getting my glass fixed on my vehicle, and that is because somebody broke into my car last night and stole my IFAK, my first aid kit. So that just happened the night before you posted the video of the challenge of showing you our first aid kits. So I'm gonna show you one of my other ones because my main one that I keep in the vehicle got stolen. Yeah, sorry, I got interrupted. Got stolen last night out of my car. Busted the window and stole it. So that's why they are replacing it now and fixing this window. So I'll show you my other first aid kit. Love that kit. The kit itself, the contents, is not what I loved about it. I mean, they have great contents in them, but most of the contents that were in it is stuff that I already have anyway. But the bag itself, those bags are top notch. They really are. I love the way they open. I love the pull out function of the inner bag. They're very well made. So yeah, out of everything that got stolen in my car, I was pretty upset about the first aid kit. So anyway, but that's a good lesson that you should always have a backup, right? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. 2 is 1, 1 is none, all that. So this particular bag is a rip-away bag. Nothing like the Refuge Medical bag. This is a cheap, probably China-made bag. It's a rip-away bag. It has the Velcro on the back. This usually lives on one of our bug-out bags, just an extra bag that we have full of stuff, and this one sits there. But the contents, we're going to see. It's been a long time since I've opened this, a long time since I have seen the contents. I haven't adjusted it. I specifically, purposely didn't open it prior to this video to go through so that I can analyze as I go through. Oh, that's old. This needs to be replaced. That I probably don't need anymore. That I probably need something that maybe not in here. Whatever the case might be, we're going to hash through all that stuff together. So there it goes. We're going to open this up. Like I said, this usually Velcros to the back, to a backing that was on the bag. Rip it off. Let's open this bad boy up and see what's in here. So first of all, this little bag right here, if I remember correctly, and how I usually pack my first aid kits, is minor wound stuff, boo-boo kit type stuff. So there's some waterproof medical tape. There's another roll of tape. There is some aspirin. There is a baggie of, again, boo-boo stuff. Let's see. Might as well open it. Super glue. Oh, what do you know? Another super glue. Folded duct tape, because duct tape has a million uses and you can use this for darn near anything and even tape wounds with that. Little applicators for the super glue. We have all kinds of ointments here. Let's see what the different ointments are. First aid burn cream, several of those. Antibiotic ointment, obviously, some more. First aid burn cream. Several types of antiseptic and different types of wipes. We have alcohol prep wipes. Again, this is unscripted. So let's see. Sting relief. These things have come in some serious handy. These things have been lifesaver. When the kids get stung, camping trips, we're at the lake, they step on a bee, real world scenario, those things have all happened. And these things work surprisingly well in instant relief of the sting pain. So I was pleasantly surprised with those. Just basic antiseptic towelettes. More sting relief. More alcohol prep pads. And then just basic bandages. And look at that. What says dad life more than little round cat band-aids in your first aid kit? Again, this is not fake. I'm not trying to front with all this super tactical gear, surgery, medical equipment. This is real world. This stuff gets used all the time. Well, in my other first aid kit that got stolen, it did. So that's what's in this little baggie. Oh, and some Q-tips and some liquid skin, which arguably the super glue would do the same job, but this is called liquid skin to close minor cuts. And what else do we got in here? Iodine tablets. Iodine tablets for radiation. Floods your, excuse me, so that your thyroid does not get, it floods your thyroid so that you do not absorb the radiation in the air. Some lighted tweezers. Pair of scissors. A little bit more tape. Obviously this one is super low, which is probably why I added these other two rolls. And a finger splint. This is in here because something, I don't know what it is about me, but I tend to jam and dislocate and hurt my fingers very often. My daughter just had her first incident of doing the same, and it can be super painful. And this is a good example of something that, you know, what everybody's first aid kit is not going to be the same. There's certain items that you should have. There's certain items that every first aid kit, at least in my opinion, definitely should have. And then there's those things that are individual to you. Do you have prescription medications? Does somebody in your family have certain needs more than another? This is one of those things for me because I use it quite often. I mean, I have several. I haven't used this one in a long time, obviously. But okay, moving on. Let's get all this out of the way. That is the boo-boo care portion that was in this kit right here. Now, in this kit, we have, in this pocket up here, I should say, trauma wound dressing, emergency bandage, still sealed for more major bleeding injuries, typical first aid bandage, nasopharyngeal airway. This is one of the things that I did not have in my kit prior to getting my BearFAK. And then once I saw the BearFAK and realized, oh wow, that is something that definitely could come in handy. Definitely I'd consider that a need. And I bought these in bulk and put them in every first aid kit that we have. High fin chest seals. I think I have 2 in here. This is for patching wounds like gunshot wounds, things of that sort in the chest, primarily in the chest or torso area. As you can see there, entry and or exit wound, which is why you have 2, because it could be both. Basic medical masks. Right here in this pocket right here, or this little loop right here, is gloves, surgical gloves, an emergency blanket, another ACE bandage, because with kids especially, and I've been known to do it playing sports all my life as well, but these come in handy for sprains, simple sprains, twisting your ankle, you're hiking, you know, you're on a camping trip. twisted ankles, slight sprains, that. And when you have as many kids as I do, that's why I have multiple of them. Triangle bandage. Very common, very standard. This is one of those things that I believe should be in every first aid kit. And this is a lidoderm, lidocaine patch for extreme pain and muscular pain. I use these, or I have used them. I haven't used them in a long time, but because of my back issues, when I have severe back pain, these numb that pain pretty good. All right, moving right along. Let's move this out of the way. Moving right along to this upper pocket here. I've got, first of all, cat tourniquet. Very important. I'm surprised I don't have more than one in here. I believe the bug out bag that this is attached to, that this first aid kit is attached to, has an additional tourniquet inside that bag. But very important, make sure you get genuine good cat tourniquets. There's come a dime a dozen from God knows where on the internet. You can get them super, super cheap, but they're definitely not as good when you... I've gone to tighten this windlass before on the tourniquet, and this thing will just snap. Or the holder here, let me see if I can get that for you. This hook that the windlass goes into to hold it in place once it's tightened up, this will crack, which defeats the whole purpose because that needs to be strong to hold this in place. Decompression or compression sticks. What is this? Oh, yeah. Didn't realize I had this in there. But silver. This is Sovereign Silver brand, but doesn't necessarily have to be that brand. But yeah, that's good to know that was in there. I should check the expiration date on that. I'm not even sure, to be honest with you. I mean, this stuff will last long beyond the expiration date, but yeah, April of 23. This pocket up here is more for bleeding. So I got lots of ways to stop bleeding. Here is little rolled gauze, 2" by 4 yards. This is, looks like this is another emergency blanket, but one that we had already used and just repacked, when I was done, folded it back up. Gauze pads, lots and lots of gauze pads, lots and lots of gauze pads. Here's more rolled gauze for wound packing. Lots of gauze pads. Let's see how many different sizes. We got several of 4x4s. Several 2x2s. There's some more 4x4s. Another 2x2. And then bleed stop, which can be poured onto and into a deep wound, and then bandaged over, which will help blood clotting. I think this first aid guide, this is just a very basic first aid guide. I believe this just came with the bag. I don't know why that's in there. Directions for the cat tourniquet. Although, disclaimer, in the heat of the moment, you're not gonna want to stop and read this, right? If you're in need of a tourniquet, the last thing you want to do is to have to be reading instructions. So that goes back to what I've said before as far as training and practicing and knowing how to use stuff before you're in that situation. That's the whole point of preparedness, right? You prepare in advance. You don't want to just stick a tourniquet in your bag and, oh, I got the instructions in there, I'll learn when. No, you'll have a dead casualty on your hands that has bled to death because you didn't know how to use the tourniquet. So I'm not sure quite why I have this in there, but you definitely don't want to be reading this when the time comes that you need to use it. All right. Another 2x2. And it looks like that's it in this particular bag. So what I will say is most of this stuff we have cases of. So we replenish and create multiple first aid kits. Like I said, the decompression needle. Shout out to Bear Independent and Refuge Medical, because I didn't have one of those in any of my kits until I realized that the kit that I was going to purchase typically comes with one. Again, I just purchased the bag because those bags are amazing and I love them. But I filled it myself because everything that it typically comes with, I already had in stock, except for that nasopharyngeal airway. It also comes with, I take that back, a decompression needle, which I don't see in this bag, but my other bag did have one. So that is something that I need to make a note of, that this bag needs, because we already have lots of those too. It's just a matter of putting it in here. Pretty much everything you see here, we buy enough to be able to multiply and fill multiple bags with. And then, perfect example, in the case that my IFAK, my BearFAK, was stolen out of my car, now I gotta replace the bag, but I already have all the contents. I can recreate that bag, or even if I had a cheap bag in the meantime, I can recreate that bag pretty much instantly. We have literally cases upon cases of these 2x2 gauzes. I mean, this is 2x2 of these 4x4s, literally cases. Pretty much everything here, cases of the burn cream, cases of the hyphen chest seals, or boxes I should say. Pretty much everything here we can replenish another bag if we needed to, and that's very beneficial not only for us, but we also have smaller, less comprehensive kits that we create just in case, that we can give to somebody in case of an emergency, that we can just hand it off and literally, here, this is yours, that type of thing. So that pretty much goes with everything that's in here. I didn't get into too much detail about what each one of these things does. I could get more into detail on those things on an individual video. I don't want to make this one too long. But again, shout out to NWA Prepper. 3 years late, my brother, but here's your video response. Shout out to Refuge Medical. I will be back in your store as soon as possible to replace that bag. But yeah, that was a heartbreaker. Those bags are awesome. Yeah, that's about it for this particular bag. If you don't have an individual first aid kit, individual means like something that you can carry with you at all times, whether it's in your car, it's in your EDC bag, it's in your purse, it's on your headrest, it's in your trunk, it's wherever it is that you have with you all the time. I don't mean a first aid kit under the sink in your bathroom. You should have that also. You should have several in your house, or at least one or two in different locations in your home. But one that you have with you at all times, I can't stress it enough, get it. This bag right here, and this is a pretty large one. I have several more that are similar to this. Excuse me, I got distracted. Several more that are similar to this, but smaller. And these are cheap. These are, I don't even know, maybe 10, 12, 15 bucks. This large one, maybe 20. Again, they're not the highest quality. They're not going to hold up in, serious rugged use. But this particular one wasn't. It was sitting in a closet, so it's not going through really rugged use. So no excuses. Even if you had to put it in a Ziploc baggie, put a bunch of stuff in a Ziploc baggie. Something to pack wounds with, something to stop bleeding. You can have something, again, as small as this. This little baggie is what? 4x3? Tiny baggie with boo-boo kit stuff, Band-Aids, Q-tips, little antiseptic wipes, stuff like that. It doesn't take much, right? And just because I stock, cases of things and multiple iterations doesn't mean you have to. Just get started. Have some kind of first aid kit and have multiple. Have one with you at all times. Again, It's the whole idea of preparedness, right? You don't want to wait till you're in the situation to decide, oh man, I should have had, right? Okay, and learn how to use the stuff. Practice, use the stuff. There's plenty of videos online. If you can go to an actual class, I highly recommend it. The typical first aid class is not going to teach you stuff like how to stop major bleeding, probably. How to use a tourniquet, probably not going to teach you stuff like that. But they have some useful information. In fact, Bear Independent Refuge Medical also has classes, obviously more expensive, but also very much more comprehensive in the things that you learn. But learn how to use this stuff. If anything, in all your preps, if there's anything you need to learn more of in advance, it's first aid. You want to be able to use all your equipment, camping equipment, your firearms, whatever it is. You need training for all that stuff. Just having it, again, doesn't do you any good if you don't know how to use it. But medical, especially, literally, we're talking about life and death. So get your kit, get your equipment, and learn how to use it. Practice, learn how to use it. Go to trainings. Some first aid trainings are very basic, again, but some by the Red Cross and things like that are often offered free. So no excuses. Get yourself first aid kit, fill it up, and learn how to use the equipment. Get after it.